Hello, this is Allegion. Allegion's main goal is to provide security to people where they live, work, learn, and visit. The parent company of Allegion, Von Duprin, is rooted in an amazing story that was birthed from the story of the December 30, 1903 Iroquois Theatre disaster in Chicago. Carl Prenzler was supposed to attend the play on December 30 but went back home before the show started. There was a faulty spotlight that caused a massive fire. The theater had several code violations, from locked exit doors, boarded-up fire chutes, locks that people were not trained to open, and too many people in the building. The fire killed hundreds and several of them were piled against the door because it swung in the wrong direction. Carl wanted to create a security exit device that would prevent deaths and also protect the assets of the company using them. The push bar was created by him and a few friends where it was locked on the outside of the building, but from the inside you don't have to do anything but just push up against the bar in order to exit the building. Although the fire was tragic, several building codes and the push bar were created from that experience. One of the core values of the company is, "This is your business, run with it." This encourages and empowers each employee to make the business their own and be free to be creative. The culture of Allegion is constructive. The work environment is conducive to growth for the employees and the growth of the business. The values and beliefs are well developed and well communicated. Allegion has several brands under its umbrella: Schlage, Von Duprin, and Falcon, to name a few. The company comes up with forward-thinking technology like bioscanners, but also in response to tragedies, ensuring they never happen again, such as technology to protect students from school shootings. The change was a software migration. In the sales department there was a massive migration to a software program. The organization was moving from Spextra to Ovita for projects. The purpose of the migration was to have a platform where there could be free-flowing collaboration between everyone involved with each project. The spec writers and architects would be able to communicate, as well as anyone else involved. There were 3 phases of the transition:
the pre-migration phase, the migration phase, the post-migration phase.
The launch date was pushed back several times due to issues with the system and making sure the program would perform the intended tasks. Communication started long before the successful launch, although the failed attempts lowered the credibility with the teams that would be affected. Over 220 people would be affected by this new change. There were different resources used during the pre-migration phase to minimize the resistance of the transition.
There were several town hall-style meetings that took place long before the change occurred. This gave everyone affected the opportunity to ask questions. There was a test environment created to allow the spec writers the opportunity to try out the new system. In my group we were asked to begin to use the new system for a select few so they could gain the buy-in of some of the more successful spec writers. With the date constantly changing, resistance began to build up. People were uncertain if the program would do what it promised.
During the migration phase the sales department shut down for 3 days while all of the information was transferred over. This did not stop the submittal of projects, but it did halt the processing of projects.
Since the migration from the old software to the new, immediate frustrations have now subsided. Participation is mandatory, so the conversion has been adapted by everyone in the organization. Post-migration came with its own set of frustration as well as successes. Here are a few. Initially there was frustration once the system was up and running again. Being shut down for 3 days meant there was a massive backlog of projects. The backlog did not only include the 3 days of being shut down, but also the 2 days over the weekend. With no overtime being offered, it took several weeks to get back on schedule. Overall, the success of the transition can be seen with the increase of sales and projects being won. Allowing the architects the opportunity to collaborate with the spec writers in real time and remotely has opened up more opportunities for the business to earn more revenue. There has also been successful buy-in from the team in spite of the rocky start. There are several ways the organization is providing ongoing support. There are the continued weekly meetings, There has been a chat room created where people can reach out in real time to tech support, and the managers and change agents are readily available for comments, questions, and concern.
The change agent team used the above diagram to plan each phase of the conversion, and as a guideline for the communication that would go forth to combat resistance and move employees along the curve to facilitate the success of the change. There is 100% participation in the new change process. Change leaders believe the conversion to be a success. Although there were resistors to the change process, the transition went as smooth as possible, and there is complete participation within the organization. I would say the leaders and change agents were overall effective during the change process. There is always going to be some type of resistance to change, but they provided tools to help overcome that resistance. The test environment was a major factor to the success of the change process. Although we did not like the changes we would face, we were able to anticipate them because of the test environment. Changes cannot be 100% resistant or issue-free, but with proper planning it can go rather smoothly. As stated before, because of this change, spec writers are able to collaborate with all of those involved with the projects and able to secure more revenue and projects, which betters the bottom line of the company.